and happy February! This month I have for you a Cape Breton reel. I realize it's been forever since we've done a Cape Breton reel. We've done Cape Breton everything else, stress play, jigs, what have you, but like one of those driving awesome reels, it's been a while. So this tune saves us. This is written by the great Beaton. And I learned it from Troy McGilvery up at the Acadia Trad School in Bar Harbor, Maine, where I was teaching last summer, and will also be this summer if you're looking for a great camp to come to. This tune is called Mike to the Rescue. One of those tune names that makes you know there's a great story behind it. I just don't happen to know this one. And that's the tune. If you're just listening, thanks for stopping by. And if you're ready to learn it, well, you know what's up. So, as you can probably tell, this tune is in D major and is like a really wonderful example of how you can use a totally non-varied classic part 1, part 2, part 1 ending structure and even have that tag of the A section at the end of the B and still be really awesome and interesting at all times. Andrew is a really fantastic tunesmith in this sense, I think. So here we go, D major. I'm going to break it down slowly, A section first. To part 1. Ending. Calling out the parts there for those of you who are really used to learning this very patterned way with Tune of the Month. Hopefully by now you're starting to be able to learn these tunes just while I play them through slowly. And in fact, you could challenge yourself right now, instead of going on to the breaking down I'm about to do, just rewind the video and see if you can learn the whole thing just by playing along with those slow A sections. Notice I've taken all the ornaments out, so it's totally easy to hear what the structure of the tune is. Alright, so if you need a little help breaking it down, either because it's new or because it's a new skill to you, let's take a quick look. Part 1. So the thing I like about this tune is Andrew's very clever about where she puts in skips where you expect a scale. Right here. Other people would have done or something not good. Andrea does that little skip around. Do that part 1 again. Again. Now it's already time to start putting in these little ornaments. You'll remember from previous Cape Breton reels that we do, if it were in Scottish music, we would do that flap. Put a grace note on top of the melody note. In this case, the melody is the B. We would grace on top of it in Scottish music. In Cape Breton, they grace from below, where I'm actually lifting up that first finger. I have a nickname for that ornament. I call it the wiggle, because it sounds like it's wiggling. Da-da, da-da, da-da. There's something very warbly and fun about it. So in this part one, obviously, you do a little flap there. There's the wiggle, you got it? Flap. Wiggle, good. Here's part two. Again, brilliant use of skips by Andrea. By the way, when you're using a combination of skips and scales like this, we did a little bit last month in Farewell to Woolly Ranges, it's called a pentatonic feel, where the composer is strategically leaving out certain notes to kind of change the sound of the tune. So what's conspicuously missing in this part two are any second fingers. No second fingers. Until you get all the way down to the D string. Second fingers are okay on the D string, but nowhere else does she use them in this whole A section. So if you pretend you don't have a second finger and just play a scale, it ends up being correct. I'll do that part two again. Does it make more sense now? I'm going to put in a little bit of ornament. And basically in those quick moving things, I'm looking for any opportunity I have to flap. And the only difference is when I have a first finger, I'm going to use a wiggle instead of a flap. Come from below rather than from above. If that's new to you, you can go back and check out previous Cape Breton reels that we've done, including the Wing Commander, Donald Mackenzie, which I know is a Scottish tune. We did it in a Cape Breton style, which is how I learned it. And there we go all over the difference between the flaps and the wiggles. So if that's new to you, go check those out. For now, just play on getting the sounds in. Okay, so we got part one, we got part two. We go back to part one. And I have great news. The ending is basically identical to part two. Is the last note. It goes back to D, so we close it off. It's like putting the period at the end of the sentence. Well, that's the whole A section. Let's put it together slowly. I'm going to have ornaments in, and I'll call them as I do them. Try and see how many more you can get in that I don't call. Part one. Flap. Wiggle. Part two. Section. Yeah, notice I use very few slurs. I only use a buffer slur, which we've also talked about in the past, which is after I have a quarter note, I'm going to slur the next two eighth notes to make sure that I stay down bow on the downbeat. But other than that, it's just this grooving, separate bows that is like the hallmark of the Cape Breton reel playing style to me. Okay, so, oh, I forgot to tell you about. bottom when she lands. Every part 2. Every time she lands on that bottom quarter note, it ends up becoming a cut, which is also a very Cape Breton thing to end on a cut or to do pickups on a cut. I sometimes leave that out for a little bit of contrast. I like to toggle between cut and no cut. You should play around with it and see what you like best. Okay, so on to the B section. I'm going to slow it down and I'll take ornaments out. Should be going off in your head because there is so much familiar material in that B section. As a matter of fact, there's only one bar that's different between the B and the A, and it's this first bar right here. That's all that's new. Do it again. Down the scale, but leaving out that second finger, of course. Strategic skip again from the A section. So part 1 of the B is a tiny bit of new material and then the strategic skip. Since we already know it, I went ahead and put that wiggle back in. I hope that's okay. The part 2 is the same. Back to part 1 of the B. Strategic skip. Part 2. As an ending. Wow. So this is, to me, truly amazing writing. There's almost nothing different between the A section and the B section. Yet Andrea is so efficient in terms of how she creates the shape of the tune. It feels like totally new material, and I don't get bored listening to it ever. Wish I could write tunes like that. Super effective. Now, she does do one cool thing. I'm sure you heard when I played through. The second time through the B section, she does a regular B, and the second time through the B section, she does a tag A ending, which means instead of going back for part 1 of the B section, she just goes back and plays the second half of the A section. So let's do that Andrea's way right now. We're going to play 2 Bs. One is a full B, and the other tags the A section on the second half. Here we go. Lots of Cape Breton tunes do this, and some Scottish as well, where they kind of round off that tune by coming back to the A at the end of the B. It gives it this nice kind of like oomph, full circle feel. And that's the whole tune. You notice I was already putting in as many flaps and wiggles as I possibly could. That's how I tend to think of left hand ornaments in Cape Breton reels. Whatever ones I can get in, just quick and light, I get them in. sometimes you'll play those notes and the tune's going by so quickly, you don't actually hear them. You just kind of hear this little disturbance in the force, a rhythmic disturbance in the force in a positive way. And that's just stylistic ornamentation. It sounds really great. So this is a tune that you want to definitely work up to speed and get that separate bow really chunking nicely. I don't suspect that many of you are going to need the sheet music for this tune because it's just so well constructed and easy to remember. But if you would like to see it, as always, I'm going to send it out in a special email as a part of my email newsletter, my monthly newsletter. If you are not subscribed to that yet and you would like to see the sheet music for all future tunes of the month, you can go to my website, www.mariblack.com, hit the newsletter button and sign up, and you'll get those emails along with everyone else, and it will include the sheet music for the tune of that month, if it's interesting to you. Alright, thank you guys for checking in and enjoying a tune, and I'll see you next month. Bye!